For years, people were told to fear eggs, too much cholesterol, bad for your heart, so people tossed the yolk or avoided eggs entirely. But the story is more complicated and way more interesting than we were taught, because with 1 to 2 eggs a day, the first changes most people notice aren't on a lab report. When you eat 1 or 2 eggs a day, you're not just eating protein, you're getting a compact nutrient package that can affect how full you feel, how steady your morning energy is, and what nutrients you actually absorb from the rest of your plate. 1 large egg is about 72 calories and roughly 6 grams of protein, but the yolk is where many of the extra nutrients live, like choline and the carotenoids that support eye health. Why eggs matter more as you get older, even if your weight never changes. After about age 30, muscle mass naturally declines over time. One reason daily protein becomes more important. Eggs help because they're a high-quality protein, and they contain leucine, an amino acid involved in muscle protein building. And here's a cool detail. In a resistance training study, whole eggs stimulated muscle-building signals more than egg whites with the same protein, suggesting the whole food package matters. But the most underrated egg nutrient isn't for your muscles, it's for your brain. Eggs are one of the most practical food sources of choline, about 147 milligrams in a large egg. Choline helps your body make acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter involved in memory and nerve signaling, and many people don't consistently hit choline targets, so small, daily sources can add up. Now let's talk about why eggs can feel so different from a sugary breakfast. By 10:30 a.m., eggs are low in carbs and they digest slowly because they're mostly protein and fat. In controlled breakfast studies, egg-based breakfasts have been linked with different hunger hormone responses and sometimes lower energy intake later compared with high-carb breakfasts, like bagels. In real life, that can look like fewer random cravings before lunch, but it's not magic. There's a simple appetite reason. Watch this. If you eat eggs at breakfast for a week, pay attention around 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Do you feel calmer hunger or the usual snack panic? Not everyone responds the same, but higher protein breakfasts often improve fullness in adults, especially when the rest of the meal isn't ultra-processed. A benefit that's literally visible because it happens in the eye. The yolk contains lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that concentrate in the retina. Eggs are interesting here because the yolk's fats help make these carotenoids easier to absorb, and lutein, zeaxanthin are well known in eye health research, including the AREDS2 supplement formula for macular degeneration risk management. Now, here's the twist. Eggs can also help you absorb nutrients from vegetables. This study is wild. In a randomized crossover study, adding eggs to a raw vegetable salad increased absorption of carotenoids by multiple-fold, especially with a higher egg portion. The egg doesn't just bring nutrients, it can help your body use nutrients from the salad. This is why eggs plus vegetables is a smarter message than eggs alone. Okay, but we still have to talk cholesterol, because that's the question everyone's thinking. Eggs aren't a skincare product, but they do provide protein, and they contribute fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, which supports normal cell growth and epithelial tissue integrity. Think of this as supporting the building materials, not a miracle fix. Now let's clear up cholesterol with the simplest explanation you've heard. Yes, eggs contain cholesterol, but in many people, dietary cholesterol has a smaller effect on blood cholesterol than saturated fat does. A 2025 controlled trial separated the two and found saturated fat, not dietary cholesterol, was the bigger driver of LDL changes. 2 eggs a day inside a low saturated fat pattern actually lowered LDL compared with a higher saturated fat control. So if eggs come with bacon, sausage, and butter, that's a different cholesterol story than eggs with vegetables. And there's one type of person who should still personalize egg intake. We'll cover that. Studies show average changes are often modest. Some people see LDL go up a bit, some see little change, and some improve, especially when eggs replace ultra-processed breakfasts. If you're curious, the most responsible approach is simple. Change one habit, then recheck labs with your clinician. The cooking mistake that quietly turns eggs from healthy into heavy. Here's the common mistake. It's not the egg, it's what you cook it in and what you cook it with. If you're worried about heart markers, keep the added saturated fat low. Think poached, boiled, or gently scrambled with minimal butter, plus fiber on the side. And now, food safety in 10 seconds, because it matters more than people think. Quick safety note: cook eggs until the white and yolk are firm, and cook egg dishes to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. For recipes that use raw or undercooked eggs, like some dressings, use pasteurized eggs. This is especially important for pregnant people, older adults, and anyone immunocompromised. Now let's talk egg quality, because yes, some cartons are actually different. Egg quality can vary with how hens are raised and fed. Some studies find pasture systems can produce eggs with higher omega-3s and antioxidants like vitamin E and carotenoids, though results vary by farm and feed. But here's the practical takeaway. If you can't or don't want to buy premium eggs, regular eggs still deliver the core benefits: protein and key nutrients. Next, the nutrient in egg yolk that helps move fat through the body, and why that matters. Choline isn't trendy, but it's important. It plays roles in lipid transport and metabolism, and it's one reason egg yolk is more than just extra fat. This isn't a cleanse, it's basic physiology support, but eggs don't affect everyone the same. Here's who should be more cautious. For many healthy adults, 1 to 2 eggs a day can fit into a balanced diet. But if you have very high LDL, familial hypercholesterolemia, existing heart disease, or you're managing diabetes, it's smart to personalize, because individual cholesterol responses and overall diet patterns matter. And of course, if you have an egg allergy, eggs are off the table. Now, if eggs become your daily habit, here's what you'll notice most often first. When eggs replace a sugary breakfast, many people notice more steady mornings, fewer cravings, and an easier time hitting protein goals. And that last part matters for healthy aging, because muscle and strength don't maintain themselves for free. But there's one subtle change that surprises people. Eggs can upgrade the rest of your plate. A simple egg breakfast often crowds out ultra-processed foods because you're full sooner and longer. And when you pair eggs with vegetables, you can even improve absorption of certain nutrients from those vegetables. So let's recap the real egg story in 20 seconds. 1 to 2 eggs a day can support your protein intake, provide choline, deliver eye-related carotenoids, and help with fullness, especially when eggs replace refined carb breakfasts. And cholesterol? For many people, context, especially saturated fat, matters more than the egg itself. Now I'll show you the simplest daily egg plate that works for most people. Not because eggs are a miracle food, but because they deliver nutrients your body actually uses in a form that's easy to cook, easy to eat, and easy to repeat. Here are 3 simple plates. Pick the one that fits your life. Plate A, eggs with greens and color. Plate B, eggs with beans for extra fiber. Plate C, eggs on a salad, because yes, it can boost absorption of carotenoids. And one final mindset shift makes this habit actually stick. Big health changes rarely come from extreme diets. They come from small habits you can repeat most days without hating your life. So, what's your egg number? If you enjoy simple science-based health habits, consider subscribing to Repair Our Health. And tell me, do you eat 0 eggs, 1 egg, or 2? And what do you usually eat with them? One thing people often notice when eggs become part of breakfast is how the morning feels different. Not dramatic changes, just steadier mornings. Because eggs are rich in high-quality protein, they digest more slowly than refined carb breakfasts. In several studies, egg-based breakfasts increased satiety and sometimes reduced food intake later in the day compared with cereal or bagel breakfasts. That doesn't mean eggs are a magic weight loss food, but they can change how hungry you feel between meals, and that alone can influence the rest of your day. The real reason eggs work for many people isn't because they're trendy or perfect, it's because they're simple, quick to cook, and packed with protein, choline, and key nutrients the body uses every day. And when a food is easy to prepare, easy to enjoy, and easy to repeat, that's when small habits actually stick. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you have high cholesterol or a medical condition, talk with a qualified healthcare professional about what's right for you. Thanks for watching.